Guys, 5 days until Christmas arrives and the year 2020 comes to an end. We all know that this year, 2020, with the pandemic and all the craziness that's happened, hasn't been the easiest. So I think that gives all the more reason to treat yourself and buy yourself something nice this year. Now, if your spouse, your child, your sibling, your friend is a photographer or filmmaker and you don't know yet what to buy them this year for Christmas, I'm gonna help you out. I decided that in today's video, I'm gonna give you 10 things that you could buy for a photographer or filmmaker in 2020. Now, all these products that I'm recommending, I'm not being paid to recommend them. These are simply products that I use in my everyday use and that I really love having. So I thought these are things that I could 100% recommend for you guys to buy for your sibling, spouse, friend who is a photographer and filmmaker. So number one on the 2020 gift guide is the Ulanzi ND Rapid Fire Filter. So basically what this is this is a system for photographer, videographer, hybrid shooters to be able to use variable ND filters without having to go through all the pain of screwing on and off variable ND filters, switching from photography and filmmaking. So the way this works is you just screw this filter onto your lens, and when you want to use your variable ND, you just have it attached like this, but then when you want to take photos, you just pop it down like that. Easy as that. Literally 1 second to put on the variable ND filter, 1 second to take it off. This is a really cheap tool. It's only $30, but so helpful when you're a photographer, videographer, hybrid shooter. So that's gift number one on the gift guide. The second gift on the 22 gift guide is the SanDisk Extreme Pro SSD. Now, this is probably, again, not the most sexiest tool to have on a gift guide, but this is probably one of the most practical tools you can get as a photographer and filmmaker. Now, for the longest time, I was using these Seagate external hard drives, and they are so much bigger and slower, and there's so much more risk in using these. There's been a few times where I've dropped one of these hard drives and it broke and I lost all my photos, all my video gear. And the reason for that is that in these kind of hard drives, it's using a spinning disk. So while you're using it, something's spinning inside there, and if you hit it or drop it, it breaks and then you can't use it anymore. Now, the thing with these SSD drives, they have nothing spinning inside of them, meaning you can't lose your footage, you can't break them very easily. I think this said you can drop it from as up to high as 2 meters without it breaking, and it's waterproof. So not the sexiest thing for gift guide, but definitely practical, and your friend, your sibling, your spouse will definitely appreciate you buying one of these. Gift number 3 on the 22 gift guide is the Canon 50mm 1.8 RF lens. Now, this is the upgraded version of the famous Nifty 50, and this lens goes for the Canon EOS R, the R5, and the R6. And the reason why you want to buy prime lenses like the 50mm 1.8 compared to just using a kit lens is that you're going to get that nice shallow depth of field. You see, the mistake that many people do when they're starting out in photography is they buy an expensive camera body, but then they just use a basic kit lens that has an aperture of in between 3.5 to 5.6. This has an aperture of 1.8, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically the lower the number, so 1.8 is going to give you more of that shallow depth of field. It's going to give you that nice bokeh in your shots. So that is one reason why you should upgrade and buy a prime lens rather than just having a kit lens for your DSLR mirrorless camera. Now, the second thing I love about this lens is the size. Compare this to my 85 1.2 RF lens to the 50mm. The size difference is huge, and I personally love having small gear setups. I've actually been testing out the 50mm, the 35 1.8, and the 85, I think it's f2 currently, and they are so much smaller than the L series lenses for the RF line, and I've really loved that about this lens, just the size and just the affordability. This is only $200, so if you're starting out photography and you don't want to break your bank right away by spending $1,000 on a lens, I would highly recommend getting the Canon 50mm 1.8 RF lens. Gift number 4 on the 2020 guide is the fully bamboo Jarvis standing desk. Now, I got this desk last year, and I am so thankful that I got that desk because that desk has really saved my back from just sitting hunched over at the desk. I'm constantly working on my laptop at the desk, so what I do is I always make it to a standing desk. I stand there for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then I go sit down for another 15, 20 minutes, and then again I stand, and I keep changing my position for the day. And I love the standing desk from Fully because you can just automatically press buttons that are just set to your standing position and your sitting position. And as well, the desk just looks really, really good. A lot of stand desks, they look really just like businessy, corporate office look, but I feel like this has a nice, good, clean look that really suits the style that I love for my office. So if you haven't yet treated yourself to a nice desk, especially this year with COVID-19 and working from home, I would definitely highly suggest treating yourself to buying a nice standing desk. Not only is it gonna make you a lot more healthy, but as well, it'll be a nice addition to your home. Number 5 on the 2020 gift guide is the Manfrotto Pixie tripod. Now, this little guy has been so handy when it comes to vlogging. A lot of times if I'm on the go and I don't want to carry on my mirrorless camera setup with the microphone and all that stuff, I like to just vlog on my iPhone. And having this Manfrotto Pixie tripod has been so handy because A, you can hold then your iPhone really easily and vlog, but as well, you can set it down very quickly on a table or a desk if you need to get a nice static shot. For example, if I'm walking in the scene or something like that. This guy is very affordable, very well built and durable, as well as has this nice little button here that you can then move and adjust the ball head on here. Really simple, really easy to use, but really handy tool if you want to vlog with a mobile phone. So that's number 5 on the gift guide. Number 6 on the 2020 gift guide is the Aputure RGB Lights. I talked about these lights last year, and I'm going to talk about them again this year because these little guys are so handy. First off, they're only $90, so they're very affordable, and the amount of light and just the colors that you can get from this thing is amazing. Even right now in this shot behind me, I have a little RGB light just to give a nice little blue pop to the backdrop. And a lot of times in my studio setup, I'm putting the different Aputure RGB lights just around to give nice accent lights, or even a shoot, I might even use the lights to give a different color or light to the shots. These guys are really small, lightweight. They have magnets in the back so you can just attach them to a piece of metal really easily. And like I said again, they're very affordable. So highly recommend getting the Aputure RGB lights if you're in need of some nice accent lighting for your photography and filmmaking, or even your YouTube setup. Number 7 on the 2020 gift guide is not a physical product, but a digital product. Now, I myself am a terrible designer, let alone a motion graphics designer, but I really appreciate it when I find nice cinematic assets that I can use when it comes to editing my YouTube videos and as well my cinematic videos. Now, the guys at CinePak, Tyler and Andy, have created some amazing assets, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been using them in a lot of my videos recently. Especially when I'm showcasing different photos or I want to overlay different vertical video clips. There's some really nice assets for this, or for example, these 8mm film slide looking things that I've been using in my videos. Those can all be found on the CinePak website, and they're selling them for a very affordable price. I think your spouse or your friend or your sibling would be very impressed if you went out and bought them some digital assets, for example, with a gift card that they could then go and choose which one would be best for their editing needs. So that's number 7 on the 2020 gift guide. Number 8 on the 2020 gift guide is Peter McKinnon's variable ND filter version 2 from Polar Pro. Now, I've been a huge fan of Peter's variable ND filters. First of all, just the look, the build quality, but as well the ease of use, having the numbers on the side to tell you how many stops of light. Nowadays, they click at the different numbers, which is really nice. And as well, there's a new packaging way for you to be able to put on your variable ND filter onto your lens without ever having to touch the actual lens itself, which is really handy, a nice little addition. So if you haven't yet bought a variable ND filter for yourself to control light in order to have the double the shutter and high apertures, I would highly suggest checking out Polar Pro's Peter McKinnon variable ND filter version 2. That is a very long name. I'm gonna start calling it just the PM variable ND filter version 2. That's not even much shorter. Peter, we gotta think of a better name for this thing, because this thing is a great product, but the name is long. Number 9 on the 2020 gift guide is the Insta360 One X2. Now, I personally have never been a fan of action cameras. GoPros and different action cameras, I find that whenever you go out and film, it's always a little bit of a hassle, and the footage never looks as good as you hope when you put it back onto your computer. Now, with the 360 cameras from Insta, I always find it's the total opposite. The shooting process is very fun, it's very enjoyable, very easy, because you don't have to really be worried about where you're even pointing the camera. And then when you transfer the footage to the computer or use the app and export out the footage, it looks amazing. And it's just so easy to use. Just recently, my wife and I were in Lapland, Finland, which is up north in the North Pole, and we went snowboarding, and I was filming just snowboarding clips with the 360 camera, and it was so fun. It was so nice to just look at the footage on the app afterwards, figure out what kind of key points and keyframes you want, what kind of angles you want, even do some color grading in the app, and export it right onto my Insta stories and social media. Another huge perk of the Insta360 cameras is that when you're using their Insta360 pole, the camera automatically takes the pole out. So it really just feels like a camera that's just suspended right in front of you like a follow cam. So if you are into action sports, if you want to dabble in this kind of world, I would highly suggest getting the Insta360 One X2, because you will be pleasantly surprised with the quality and the ease of use with this camera. Now, the last but not least 2020 gift guide is the Manfrotto B3 tripod. Now, for the longest time, I've been looking for a new tripod that I could use to film my YouTube videos, but as well to get nice top-down shots. And the Manfrotto B3 tripod is perfect for that, because you can just turn the head sideways and then film top-down shots. And if you ever need to film low to the ground, all the legs can be extended totally horizontal to the ground, which makes it easy to get really low to the ground and get that nice low footage. I find that this is probably one of the most high quality, well-built, well-designed tripods, which is as well very affordable. This tripod is only $300, which is really good price for Manfrotto tripods. So if you're looking for a great all-in-one tripod that you can use for your YouTube videos, your top-down shots, your low-to-the-ground landscape shots, I would highly recommend getting the Manfrotto B3 tripod. And now, to end the 2020 Christmas gift guide, I want to give you guys a nice special gift, and that is free access to Skillshare. That's right, this episode is actually sponsored by Skillshare. The kind folk at Skillshare wanted to give my audience free access to Skillshare, which is a platform with thousands of classes. And I would highly recommend for you guys to check out the link in my description and check out Skillshare if you've never used Skillshare before, because there are thousands of classes on there. And if you want to learn more about photography, filmmaking, graphic design, social media, how to grow your channels, there are all sorts of classes to learn about those topics. So if you're interested in developing and learning in 2021, I would highly suggest for you guys to sign up with Skillshare. The first 1,000 people are gonna get access to Skillshare, and if you wanna continue after the free trial version, it's only $10 a month, so it's very affordable price in order to invest in your own learning. Guys, I hope you didn't mind me sneaking in this little Skillshare ad, but hey, Skillshare is a huge supporter of this channel and it allows me to create content for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, go check out Skillshare and benefit from their classes. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this 2020 Christmas gift guide. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as well, for those of you guys who have been part of this community for a longer time, I just want to say thank you so much. Merry Christmas to all of you guys, and have a Happy New Year.
Thank you.